trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us bold and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey. There's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us bold and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey. There's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. We stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. Trusting in you. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. Trusting in you. Trusting in you. We're trusting in you. Trusting in you.
Hi guys, and welcome to VBS. I'm so excited that you're here with us this week. This week's VBS theme is Rocky Railway. We're going to take a tour in a train through the Rocky Mountains and learn all about the book of Acts. And I'm so excited you're here. This week's theme is Jesus' power pulls us through. Can you say that with me? Jesus' power pulls us through. Each day, we're going to have a Bible buddy help us learn about the Bible lesson, the Bible verse for the day, and the day's theme. You have a card in each of your boxes, and today, our Bible buddy, his name is Ramsey, and he is a bighorn sheep or a ram, whatever you like, and he's actually right behind us. He's going to help us first learn today's theme. Today's theme is Jesus' power helps us do hard things. Can you say that with me now? Jesus' power helps us do hard things. He's also going to help us with our Bible verse. Our Bible verse comes from Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. And I'm going to say it, and then you can repeat me after. Go ahead and stand up and follow along. For I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. For I can do all things for Christ who gives me strength. Now say it with me. For I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Philippians chapter 4:13. Now, today we're going to be in Acts chapter 9. Acts is a book in the Bible. If you have your Bible, go ahead and try to find the book of Acts and try to find chapter 9. We are going to be learning about a man named Ananias and how he helps Saul. And we will learn about that a little bit later. But right now, we're going to enter into a time of worship. So go ahead and stand up, give yourself some space, because we're going to dance and we're going to sing songs to worship God.
Today we live, today we breathe, today we know that we are strong when we are weak. Today we trust, we overcome, take every chain that kept us slaves and throw them off. We're not waiting for permission, we defy our inhibition, like our middle name is fearless, son of red. If we're gonna fly, we fly like eagles, arms out wide. If we're gonna fear, we fear no evil. We will rise. By your power we will go. By your spirit we are bold. If we're gonna stand, we stand as giants. If we're gonna walk, we walk as lions. Today we live, today we breathe, today we know that we are strong when we are weak. Today we trust, we overcome, take every chain that kept us slaves and throw them off. We're not waiting for permission, we defy our inhibition, like our middle name is fearless, unafraid. If we're gonna fly, we fly like eagles, arms out wide. If we're gonna fear, we fear no evil. We will rise. By your power we will go. By your spirit we are bold. If we're gonna stand, we stand as giants. If we're gonna walk, we walk as lions.
It was awesome! Woo!
The same power that rose Jesus from the grave, the same power that commands the dead to wake, lives in us, lives in
kids. I hope you're ready to go on an adventure this week on VBS. Will you join in on the Littleton Express Railroad as we explore the Rocky Mountains together in the book of Acts? So let me tell you a little bit about the book of Acts. The book of Acts happens in the New Testament. In the New Testament, we have the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And Acts is the first book after the Gospels. It's actually the sequel to the book of Luke. And in Acts, we learn really cool information about how the early church started and how we can learn from them and how we can be like them. So we are going to go on a journey together. I hope you'll buy your ticket, you'll hop on the train, and let's go for a ride together.
Hey there, friends! Glad you're all on board for a rambunctious week of faith and fun at Rocky Railway. I'm Ramsey, a bighorn sheep. Can you guess why? Okay, that was too easy. Check out these cool, curvy horns God gave me. Ram's horns can weigh up to 30 pounds. That's as much as some of our littlest preschool buddies. Wow! My horns have to be tough because we male sheep use them to keep other rams out of our territory. People who study rams say we can run into each other at 20 to 40 miles per hour. Bam! You can hear that sound for miles. Me and my herd hang out all over the majestic, massive Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains rock! If you head up to find me, strap on your hiking boots. Sometimes my herd grazes in an alpine meadow. 'Cause that's where the good stuff is. Wow, good! But the meadow makes us an easy target for predators, so we also like to climb way up those crazy cliffs. We sheep like it steep. Me and my family can hang out on a little teeny tiny ledge that's only a few inches wide. Animals like bears or coyotes can't bother us here. Whew! And check out the view! God made us just right for staying safe in those hard, rocky places. My hooves are split and have a rough skin on the bottom that grips tight to the rugged rocks. Plus, I've got excellent eyesight. No glasses for me. It may sound like climbing these cliffs and balancing on jagged ledges is hard to do, but God has given me everything I need to live here. Find food and keep my family safe. I've heard that you sometimes have to do hard things too. When there's a bully at school, maybe you feel like you're in a rough, rocky place. You may not be balanced on a cliff ledge like me, but maybe you have to balance homework, chores, sports, music, and friendships. That sounds hard. Maybe coming here today and making new friends even feels like a hard thing for you. But did you know you don't face those hard things alone? No way! Jesus is right beside you. Yep, even right now. He gives you His power to climb through those mountains of worry and get through any rough stuff you gotta do. The Bible powers you up with this truth. For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. That means you don't have to have your own power to do hard things. Jesus' power helps us do hard things. Trust Jesus.
Hey kids, so I'm here with today's Bible buddy, Ramses. Ramses lives south of town in Waterton Canyon. If you want to go see him sometime, you could ride your bike up there and maybe you'll find him if you're lucky. See, as we talk about how Jesus' power helps us do hard things, Ramses and bighorn sheep are a perfect example of that. At one point, they were threatened in our state, and Colorado Parks and Wildlife had to reintroduce groups of them so that way they would be all right and survive on the landscape. See, the biggest threat to bighorn sheep is disease from domestic sheep. It affects their lungs and can be very devastating to them. So they have to stay far, far away from domestic sheep to avoid getting sick. But bighorn sheep also thrive in the mountains, trying to stay away from mountain lions and bears. They can get up on cliffs. They have special hooves that can help them navigate. And they have these things on their head called horns. Now, let me tell you, horns are different from antlers. We'll talk more about antlers later, but horns stay on the animal their entire life, and they just grow bigger and bigger. And they're made out of the same material that your fingernails are made out of. They're very, very strong and very, very durable. And did you know that bighorn sheep are our state animal? That's right, Colorado's state animal is the bighorn sheep. So I hope that you can learn from Ramses here how to get through hard things because of the power that Jesus gives us.
My name is Dominic, and I'm almost 11 years old.
Dominic lives with his mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa. He enjoys all kinds of hobbies, but one is his favorite.
I like to build things. I also like karate a lot. I love karate because I get to really express myself and I get to have fun, and I also get to build character and build physical strength.
Learning karate is hard work. Dominic practices up to 3 times a week. Plus, he practices at home with his dad.
The hardest thing about karate is definitely a lot of push-ups, leg lifts, sit-ups.
Dominic knows that he needs to trust Jesus when things get hard.
There was this board breaking thing, and I saw all the other kids break it with their palm, right here. Boom. Just didn't work out for me.
Dominic failed to break the board with his hand, but he didn't give up. He continued to train, and he asked Jesus to help him.
And I said, I'm gonna break this board. It's an obstacle in my way, and let me push through it. And I broke it.
Another part of karate is taking tests to earn new belts. Each belt color represents a new level. Earning a new belt is hard.
I was very discouraged on the first day because I was afraid I wasn't going to pass, and that's what brought me down. The second day, I was feeling very, very discouraged, very, very, very sad. And I thought, I don't think I'm going to pass this, and I didn't. I failed, and I failed, and I failed. Finally got to the last day that I could possibly test, and I said, this isn't going to be like those last times. I am going to pass it. I said, you know what, Jesus can help me get through this. I'm just going to pray to him today. I am going to pass the test tomorrow. And I did.
In the Bible, in the book of Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, it says, "For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength."
My 3-day test, it was really hard. And Jesus helped me through that. I was nervous for it. If you're going through hard things, I suggest that all you need to do is just trust in God and he'll help you. Pray to God and he can get you through anything. Jesus' power helps us do hard things.
Feel it in the air right now. It's all around, I see it everywhere. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. It's power. Yeah, God has power. So don't hold back, no, don't hold still. God is here and He is real. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Turn it around and move to the right.
1, 2, 3.
Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 jumps back, but you better look back.
Let's do it all again right now.
Take 4 steps to the left, to the left.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Turn it around and move to the right.
1, 2, 3.
Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 jumps back, but you better look back.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now freeze. And everybody clap your hands. Now stop.
It's now time for our story time. We're going to have this story time every day, kids. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to put away any distractions. I need you to sit down in a comfortable position, maybe on the floor, crisscross applesauce, and lean in and listen, because we are about to learn something very, very important. But before we do that, I need to ask you a question. Do you ever watch a movie and you know who the mean guy is in the movie, the bad person? You know, the person that they're trying to defeat or overcome? I mean, think about your favorite movie right now. Maybe say that movie out loud. Who was the bad person in that movie? Can you name that person? Or what about in life? Maybe at the park or playing with people or in school with friends. Do you ever come across someone who's really mean? And if you're around that person, how do you feel around that person? Do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable? My guess is if you're anything like me, you don't like to be around mean people or bad people. You don't feel safe or comfortable around them. And the reason why I tell you about this is I need to tell you about a man named Saul. See, Saul was a bad guy. Saul did not like Christians. He spoke out against Christians. He put them in prison. In some cases, he even had them killed or helped others kill Christians. And see, Saul was on his way to Damascus in Acts chapter 9. And he was going there to persecute more Christians. But something happened on the road. This is what it says in the book of Acts. As he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. And Saul fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul asked. "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting," he replied. "Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." Get this. The men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard a sound but did not see anyone. Saul got up from the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he could see nothing. So they led him by his hand into Damascus, and for 3 days he was blind and did not eat or drink anything. Now, I think I'd be a little hungry and thirsty if I didn't eat or drink anything for 3 days. And if I wasn't able to see anymore, I think I'd be a little stressed and anxious. But what happens next is really crazy. In Damascus, there was a disciple named Ananias, and the Lord called to him in a vision while he was sleeping. "Ananias," he said. How scary is that? "Yes, Lord," he answered. The Lord told him, "Go to the house of Judas on Straight Street and ask for a man from Tarsus named Saul. For he is praying in a vision and has seen a man named Ananias come and place his hands on him to restore his sight." Now let's pause there for a minute. How do you think you would feel if you were Ananias? If God was telling you to go see the mean person, the person who might put you in jail, the person who might kill you. Do you think you might be fearful? I know I would be fearful. I would be scared for my life. And here's how Ananias responds. He says, "Lord," Ananias answered, "I have heard many reports about this man and all the harm he has done to your holy people in Jerusalem. And he has come here with authority from the chief priests to arrest all who call on your name." Ananias is scared too. I think we can all relate to that. But God doesn't give up on his mission of doing hard things. This is how he responds. "But the Lord said to Ananias, 'Go, this man is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and their kings and the people of Israel. I will show him how much he must suffer for my name.'" So guess what Ananias does? He follows God to do hard things. He goes. Then Ananias went to the house and entered it. Placing his hands on Saul, he said, "Brother Saul, the Lord Jesus, who appeared to you on the road as you were coming here, has sent me so that you may see again and be filled with the Holy Spirit." Immediately, something like scales fell from Saul's eyes, and he could see again. He got up and was baptized. And after taking some food and regaining his strength, Saul spent several days with the disciples in Damascus, and at once began preaching the good news in synagogues that Jesus was the Son of God. So this is crazy, because Saul ends up changing his name to Paul. And Paul is the apostle who wrote most of the books in the New Testament. Paul changed the world. Paul brought the Gentiles, people like you and I, to faith. And why did he do that? Because Ananias listened to God. He didn't believe that Saul was a bad person. He believed that God could change that person. So here's what I want to say to you. I want to say to you that God's good message, his good news, the gospel, the grace of God is for all people, even the mean people, even the bad people. So when you come across people in life, maybe the person that you've already named, who's a mean person, who you don't like being around, I want you to remember Ananias. Because Ananias followed God and helped Saul see who Jesus was. He brought Saul to faith. And because of that, it changed human history. So maybe when you come across people, you can be loving and caring to them, even if they're mean to you. Maybe you could tell them the good news about Jesus, even if they seem to be upset or angry or hurtful people. And when you do that, here's what's really cool. You can change the world. You can make a difference in that person's life. And beyond that, you don't know how many lives could change as well. So as we've learned, through God, we can do hard things. And Ananias is a perfect example of that. And if you choose to be like Ananias and do hard things, you can bring people to Jesus too. How cool is that? Thank you for listening in during our story time. I'll see you tomorrow.
This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Jesus made a place in heaven for me. This train is bound for glory. 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 Jesus made a place in heaven for me. This train is bound for glory. This train.
Okay, now let's
Let's bring it down.
This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Jesus made a place in heaven for me. This train is bound for glory. This train, oh, this train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Jesus made a place in heaven.